Hi, I'm Dan. I like to fix things. I also like to travel, and I like to go by van when I can. My first van was a kind of a standard Class B van built on the old style van chassis. It was a 1989, I think. The next one was a Class C. The Class B, my old Class B was a little small for two people. The Class C was great, had lots of room, lots of storage, but it was 8 feet wide, got 9 miles to the gallon. Okay? So for the mountain roads that I like to travel on, driving an 8-foot wide van made me a little nervous. My new cargo van is 6 feet wide, gets 18 miles to the gallon, and has enough room and enough storage. What's different about this van is it started out as a 15-passenger cargo van. It's used. I bought it 8 years old. Has kind of a lot of miles on it, but it's in great shape. So we're going to walk around. I want to show you the advantages and the disadvantages of going with a passenger van, a 15-passenger cargo van, as opposed to getting a bare van. So I'm going to take the camera. I'm going to take you for a walk, and we'll take a look. Okay. Now, one thing that I really loved about this van is the windows. It's got a ton of windows, and we'll take a look later on the inside, see what a nice view you have. So it's got windows, got glass all the way around, and that's a great advantage for visibility. I can see out the back window, and it looks great, but none of those windows open, so that means I have no airflow. So I'm going to have a max air fan above my bed, but I've got to figure a way to have a vent someplace to let air come in when the max air is blowing out. So we'll work on that. Probably what I'll do is look, at least at first, is to look at these front windows. They're very tall. So if I make a gap about this big, put a piece of foam around here with a wire screen in it to keep bugs out. It's so tall that if I only let the window down this much, I can put that device in and it will allow air to flow in when the max air fan's on. So we get some nice ventilation. So that's one simple solution. I may do something else also later. Okay. Now, on the outside, I've kept this as stealthy as I can. On the back, I wanted shore power. I didn't want to put a hole in the side of the van. So this van came with a lovely trailer hitch, and it had wiring outlets for a 4-wire adapter and a 7-wire. So I can pull any kind of trailer with this, and it's all pre-wired for it. For shore power, I made a similar looking device. This is a 30 amp. This is 30 amps of shore power. Sits right next to this, and I think it blends in rather nicely. So far, I've been able to keep it pretty stealthy on the outside. Now, I will be adding solar on the roof, and that might make it a little less stealthy, but we need some solar power. When we get inside, I'll show you why. Inside the cab, it's pretty standard for a 2016 model Ford Transit. Looks pretty nice. Came with leather seats. I like that. It's got plenty of cup holders, but it's pretty standard on the inside. Let's walk around, take a look at some other areas, see what makes it different. Passenger side also, pretty standard cab. But on the inside, there's some big differences. We'll go over those first before we go into the details of the build. Okay. The differences start with the roof. If you look up, you see most of us who convert vans to campers start with a bare van. So we have a bare metal van on the inside. That means we're able to do all of our wiring before we install the ceiling and the walls. The camper van has the advantage of the ceiling already being in. It does have, it's not fully insulated, but it does have some insulation value. So that works pretty well. Cool thing, because it was made to cool 15 passengers, these vents on the side are air conditioning. It has a front air conditioner and a separate rear air conditioner. Both the compressor works off the engine, but there's a separate evaporator at the rear of the van that runs the rear air conditioner, which has separate controls. Okay, so I've got air conditioning built in. Now the engine has to be running for this air conditioner to work, but when I turn on the engine and start the AC, the van cools down in a very short amount of time. So if I stop for lunch and it's a hot day, I can just let the engine run, cook a meal, sit and eat, enjoy it in air-conditioned comfort without the need for an air conditioner, an additional air conditioner. And the same is true of the heat. This was meant to keep 15 passengers cozy. This vent originally vented under the floor, and there were several floor vents, so the heat was spread evenly throughout the van for the passengers' comfort. Okay, when I bought this, it had the front two driver and passenger seats, and then seating for 13 people in the back. We took out all the seats and sold them, got $350 for the seats, and we sold the seats. We took out the floor. The floor had all the hardware in it to hold down the seats and the seat belts. I used some of those anchor points to anchor things in the van so that I have a very strong build. Okay, so one issue was that we had to remove the seats and we had to remove the floor, but then we put a brand new floor in. So the floor came out nicely. That's 1/2-inch plywood. It's insulated underneath. And the other issue was wiring, okay? Because I had limited access to the wiring, but just yesterday I used a fish tape, and I got access to all of these lights that you see. Right now they're on the van battery, but I've already put the string in there to pull new wire through, and we're going to put all of these lights on the house battery so we don't drain our van battery when we're stopped. I'll probably switch these two lights. I'm going to lose because the Max Air fan is going to go right there, and I'll be able to run the proper size wire with the proper fuse for the van as well. So Max Air fan goes here, about where these lights are. There's a 14 by 14 inch square up there to accommodate the needs. The bed is anchored at what used to be seatbelt anchors. So these are crash worthy, and the bed's built on a 2x4 frame, but it's anchored with 4 bolts that are bolted to seatbelt bolts. So the bed is very, very strong. So that takes care of the wiring issues. We'll have covers for the windows on the inside for our privacy. So the windows themselves on the inside give a beautiful view of the outside. And you've got basically 360-degree windows. So the view from the inside is wonderful. When I sit in my chair, even with the refrigerator there, I still have a nice view of the outside world. When it's bedtime, we'll have privacy curtains to cover the windows, so I think the windows are a huge advantage to this van. The seating, we made the bed 36 inches in height to match the kitchen, which is 36 inches. That's a standard countertop height. And then the storage area across from it is also 36 inches. So that, and then with the cushion, this is 24 inches. And when we sit here, Turn around and take a look. When we sit here, we have a nice armrest on the right side on the bed. You have a nice armrest on the left side on top of the storage unit. We have quite a nice bit of storage down there. We will search for some plastic bins, and when we find the right bins to fit in here, we'll custom build shelves to fit the bins and keep this. We won't put doors in. We'll keep this open air. We have our cushions to sit on in our seating area, and under one seat, we'll have a 5-gallon bucket with a toilet seat on the top, and this is our porta potty. Okay, we're not going to have a black water tank in this van. Been there, done that. So we'll have more storage under the seating area. Of course, there's a garage in the back. We'll take a look at it in a minute. The kitchen, we found this beautiful sink with a great cutting board on the top, a dish drain in the bottom so we can wash and dry our dishes in the sink, the matching black faucets on order and should be here in a few days. Yeah, we're very happy with that. It's an 18 by 18 inch sink that's 9 inches deep. The biggest pan that I have fits right in there. And we wanted a good sized refrigerator. We've had little dorm sized refrigerators before that were just too small and too low. This has a nice big freezer and a large size refrigerator holding my wife's purse. But that's just for now. Refrigerator's not working yet because we haven't completed our electrical system. What was important to me, because I like to keep milk and orange juice and water, is that cold, and this will hold at least 3 half-gallon jugs so we can have drinks that we enjoy, ice when we need it. And that's the inside. In the back, initially we're going to have 2 5, 6, 7-gallon jugs that will sit in the back. One will hold fresh water, the other will be gray water, and that's going to be our plumbing for the time being. In the long run, we'll probably have a 20-gallon water tank in the garage and a 20-gallon gray tank underneath the van. That's going to come a little later. We're doing this as we go along, using our time and our budget wisely. Now, at the back of the van, we have our garage. One really cool function of these doors is that they can spin all the way back. They have these cool magnets right here, and when I open the door, the magnets snap and hold the door open. So if you're camped in a beautiful place and have the privacy, you can swing both the doors all the way open. Panoramic vista. Camped. Nice feature. So we have our bed that, as I said, is 36 inches high. These are the bolts that anchor it. So if you get a passenger van, consider these bolts a treasure. These bolt holes we're holding either the seats in place or the seat belts in place. So these are crash worthy. So these are the anchor points for this bed, and it doesn't move. It is rock steady. Okay, so using the anchor points that were vacated by taking out the seats and seat belts is a good plan. Also, the 2 jump seats that you saw before, Those are going to have seat belts as well, using those same anchor points. In the back, in the garage, I did this today because later today I'm going to start installing the rest of the electrical. What I've installed so far is two Lifetime. I paid for these. They didn't send them to me for free. I didn't get any discounts or anything, but I bought these with my own money. These are two Lifetime 12.8 volt 100 amp batteries. They are wired in parallel, so they will become a battery bank of 12.8 volts with 200 amps of power. That should be enough to keep my refrigerator running full time. Even when it's sitting and I'm not using the van, I want to keep my refrigerator cold all the time so that when we use it for local trips, just take a trip to the park or go on a picnic or something, that we have nice cold drinks and ice in the van. So shore power's coming in. There'll be a board across here. These batteries fit beautifully on top of the wheel well. The wheel well is another, one of the least usable spaces on a van, but we've made good use of it. I put a 2x6 under the batteries to hold them. I used one of the anchor points. There's an anchor. Here's one of the anchor points I was talking about. That's what it looks like. And we put a bolt through there on an L bracket and use that on the 2x6 to support the 2x6, put another L bracket at the front, and then secured the batteries to the board using a strap with a ratchet. This strap's rated at well over 1,000 pounds of strength to hold two batteries that weigh about 30 pounds apiece. So, okay. We put a little carpet back in here, and we have a Ryobi little noisy blower just to keep things clean inside the cabin and in the back. Okay. One other thing we're going to do, this 2x4 on top is going to have to move because just under the bed we're going to put a table. I'm going to just walk around, show you that last thing. Last thing I want to show you is where our table is going to be. So we have a dining room, we have a kitchen, and here is our seating area. I call these our jump seats. Right here, the rest of the bed's built with a 2x4. The horizontal piece here is built with a 2x6, so I can cut a slot in it and cut a slot in this white PVC board. And a table is going to slip out from here. The table will be lock in place. It will also open and lock in place out here. And in a future video, you'll take a look at that. But we'll have a table that slides out and doesn't take up any usable space at all in the van. But it'll slide out to about here, and we'll have a place to use our laptops, to have dinner, to sit and talk, look at our phones, or read a book, or write a book. My wife and I are both authors, so we'll do some reading, we'll do some writing, and maybe just gaze lovingly into each other's eyes. But this is the 15-passenger van converted to an RV. It's not finished, but I wanted to show you what we've done so far. If you subscribe and like and hit that little bell, you'll be notified of future videos, and we'll let you know what comes next. As we complete the build, we'll let you follow along. For instance, I did all the construction, but I didn't paint it yet. I didn't stain it or paint it. We just wanted to get the construction done first. And we think when we're finished, we're going to have a beautiful van, but it's looking pretty now. So that's it for this story. I'm Dan. I like to fix things. I also like to build things. I love to travel. I've been to every state. I've been to 60 countries. And we're going to do some more traveling. I love to meet new people and see new places. So we're going to do that. And hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you'll like and subscribe. And I'll see you down the road. Here's a few thoughts I've had about the video. If you're thinking of, or dreaming about building a van, it might be your first van or your most recent van, it's worth giving consideration to the 15-passenger vans. The Ford Transit I bought had seating for 15 people. I took out those seats for 13, sold them in 2 days on Craigslist for $350. It was a little bit of work to take them out, and then the floor had to be removed because it was all full of the hardware that accommodated those seats. A little bit more work, but well worth it. I was able to use the floor I took out as the basic template for the new floor that I put in. So I turned that disadvantage into an advantage. The windows are just wonderful. This 360-degree view when you travel to beautiful places and you stop and have lunch or camp or wake up in the morning. You can take the covers off the windows and have a 360-degree view of the world. The windows do not open or close, so there's a bit of an issue there. I haven't looked into yet finding windows that I might be able to open up. But there's other ways to get ventilation. I'll have a max air fan over the bed. I could add another fan or a vent to the roof. I could add vents in other places, going through the side of the van. There's options for ventilation. You can also just crank the windows down a little bit and a few inches, still have a secure van, and put a screen in there. That would work. But the windows are overall a big plus with some minor inconveniences. The rear heating and air conditioning are quieter than the rooftop AC and a generator. I used to have both, and I found the rooftop AC was so noisy that we rarely used it. But running the engine and the AC in the van are actually quieter than the rooftop AC and generator. The walls and ceilings are already built and have some insulation value, but they make it harder to wire. I was able to overcome all of those with a fish tape and a little ingenuity. So having the walls and ceilings ready built made the van build go faster. The crash-worthy anchor points are really useful. You don't have access to the walls easily to anchor various items in your van. But the anchor points I used to anchor things, and that worked very well. So overall, I was able to overcome all of the negatives and enjoy the positives of choosing a 15-passenger van over a stripped out bare metal van. So, everybody has their own way of doing things. This may or may not appeal to you, but if you like it, you can follow along, look this video over, and as we get it more complete, we'll do more videos and show you what the finished product looks like. Thanks. I'm Dan. I'll see you down the road.